So welcome back everyone. So in this video we are going to understand how I make this kunai model, and this video is specially requested by someone called Marat, if I pronounce it right. So okay, so let's get started. In the previous video you might seen that I make the shading tutorial of this scene. So that's the another video, but in this video we are going to understand how I make this kunai model. Alright, so this kunai model is quite simple, but there is some trick to make it. So yeah, these kind of faces, you can see that this kind of faces is something is tricky to make. So let's get started. And you can see that the background of this scene is quite simple, which is plain. So before going to model this kunai, I have to show you the top and the front view of this model, so that you can easily understand how I make this kunai at the first place, because the understanding of top view and front view gives the birth of this model, right? So let's understand the top view first. So you can see that the top view is something like this. The blade part is quite tricky, and you can see that the faces of this kunai is quite like this. So there is a sense of depth in this point, right? And there is a cylinder, and this is nothing but the handle. So this is the top view, and this is very rough sketch, so please forgive me if I sketch it very with the wrong perspectives and wrong artwork. So yeah, now the front view is something quite interesting. So in the front view, this point gets the maximum height, which correspond to this vertex, and these vertices are nothing but these points, right? So in the front view, actually the model looking like this. The kunai shape is looking like this. Okay, so I have to erase that part. Alright, so these vertices correspond to these vertices in the front view, and these vertices in the top view, you can see that these vertices actually gives the middle shape of the kunai like this, and the blade completes right there, right? And the cylinder starts here, and again we get the handle. And again we get the handle. Alright, so you can see that this is the art form, or you can say this is the sketch that I used to make this kunai. Now let's get started and make the fresh new kunai. So I just make the kunai right here. For the blade part of the kunai, I just simply use the cone with the 4 vertices, because it has 4 vertices only, and you can actually set the radius and the depth of with your understanding, but I actually make it something my previous kunai, so that okay, it's quite right like this. Now I just have to rotate it with the y-axis in the negative 90 degree. So I assume that you already know the hotkeys of Blender, and you have some beginner experience in the Blender, so that you can understand what I'm going through, all the keys and the rotation and the scale part. So now I move it with the x-axis and just give it to the right. Now the tricky part is that these vertices, you can change the position of this vertex and this vertex, all the 4 vertices, but you cannot move this face, the right face, this face because you don't have any vertex to move the face of this kunai. So what we are going to do, we actually delete this face. So now you have to select the upper vertex and the down vertex and just fill with the edge and subdivide it so that you can get the middle vertex. All right, you have to then you have to connect the other vertices with this middle vertex. So only the part that is remaining is to fill the faces. Just simply select the vertices according to it and fill the faces. Now you get the middle vertex and you can see that you can move it as you like, and the faces move also according to it. So let's get in the front view and give the shape of this kunai. So to get the front shape of this kunai, you have to enable the mirror in the x-axis and simply move this vertices there, and now you get something like this. And now you have to go to the upper vertex and simply enable the y-axis mirroring and just this. And now you can see that your blade is ready. Okay, now our blade part is ready. Now let's go and make the cylinder. You have to move to the object mode so that you can build the another object which is separated from this blade part. All right, let's move and bring a cylinder. Simply scale it down and let's give the edges of this cylinder the round shape. And now go to the face mode and just press alt, or selected mode and just press alt so that you can select all the round faces of this cylinder. And you have to set the extrude mode along normals and just extrude it. Our cylinder is looking like this, which is good. Now also we have to add one more cylinder for the handle. So let's go to the object mode and again bring one of the cylinder, scale it down. Now for the handle we have to add a torus in our scene. Now you can see that we get this kind of shape, and yeah, you have to experiment it. And so this kind of I think it is almost quite okay. So now you can scale it down. Now our handle is also ready. So what remaining is that you have to parent this object so that when you move the blade part or the handle part, these things actually, let's make the blade the head of all kind of objects, so that you when you move this blade, you actually moving all the parts of this kunai. So in the object mode, first select this torus and then shift and select this, and you have to press the Ctrl P and set parent to object. Now it's ready, and the remaining part is nothing but this kind of bandages that wrapped around this handle. So it is also very simple. Just bring a plane in the scene, scale it down again, X, Z, alright, Z, and move it this. Just scale it down more because it is really very small. Now scale it with the y-axis because it is have some kind of length in the y-axis. Now the curly shapes that you can see in these bandages are actually given with the help of loop cut and moving the loop cuts in the different directions, right? So just make a simple cut, a loop cut, and here you can see the number of cuts and you can increase it. I simply make it 5, and now you move to the yes, and now you can select each cut and just move it at the random places as you want, right? I simply just move these loop cuts in the Z axis, so there's nothing distorted in it. Now the remaining part is really simple. Just go to the modifier stack and add this subdivision surface modifier. You can see that our edges is also distorted, so just go to the advanced mode, and in the boundaries section just select the keep corner so that corners do not get subdivided. So in the levels view, just increase it to the 4 or 3 as you like, and yes, you can get this kind of curly shape. So now the remaining part remains simple. Just in the object mode, right click on the object and shade auto smooth. You can do it with on every part of this model, and yes, model is ready. You just have to give the okay, now you can see that your model is ready, and if you want you can also duplicate it and just copy it right there, and you can play with these curly effects and curly bandages. And yes, one more thing, you have to select these both and just paint it with the handle, so that when the handle is moving, this bandage is also moving. So you can see that your kunai is ready, and yes, it is quite simple stuff, and this only something I can say the tricky part with these faces, that you have to add one more vertex to move this all kind of faces. Alright, so this is all about in this video, and in the next video we met with some other tutorial. So till then, bye bye, and you, if you want to subscribe and like this video, you can do that. Till then, bye bye, take care.